Welcome to Sabbath Session podcast, everyone. Today we have got the Arnold hitters, right? So called the legend killers. I have Sanchez here and I have Ade, but I'm just missing more. Guys, legend killers, the word that everyone are telling me, the word that everyone are coming up to me. How do you guys feel about having the hashtag legend killers?
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing, but thank you.
Yeah, if it's a new hashtag, let's go for it.
Because I mean, look, let me start with you, Sanchez, right? Even before we go into the performance, we go into the meet itself. You broke one of the oldest, IPF world record. You've seen how many people over the years have gone for that record, and especially the fact that Christoph have switched to the bad side, and the
Yeah,
record still remained in IPF. To me
yeah.
personally, it was an insult, right? I always wanted someone to get rid of that record. So I'm just gonna ask you this: when you pulled it, right? When you locked that deadlift and they said down, how did you feel? What was your first thing that came to your mind?
A bit of relief, and I don't mean relief in the sense of, oh, I'm strong enough to do it. More of relief that it's done, and now I can obviously move on to other things. I feel like over the last 4 months or so since British selections, I've had this target in my back because clearly the world could see at the British selections meeting in November, I could have pulled it there. But what I said to everybody was, why put it there? I want to put it on the correct stage, hopefully Euros or Honours or Worlds. Obviously, we didn't know at that point, at that moment in time, when I pulled the 3 at 7.5. So it was just a bit of a relief. Ultimately, it was a PB. I always believe to be a true powerlifter, it's all about chasing the PB, not necessarily chasing a particular record. So that pull did two things for me. It gave me a PB, which is ultimately what I'm chasing at the end of the day. And secondly, it removes that target off my back, so to speak, in terms of pulling that 391.
Oh, you've gone muted.
I think it's got to move.
I feel like is it your I think your audio might have switched on your on Zoom to the computer one. Because if you go to your settings, it might have switched it. Because it happened to me last podcast I did. I kept going muted. So if you go to your settings, it might be like audio, and it might be like you've changed where the speaker is. It might have changed it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, I'll just clip that bit. So I'm saying like leading to the Arnold itself, Sanchez, was it something that you set out as a goal, like I'm going to the Arnold for that world record, or was it something like, look, I'm going to compete internationally, I'm just gonna put my best performance out there? Was the record just the target, or was it something if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, who cares?
I think I think records in powerlifting have a slightly different connotation to other sports, to athletics or strongman. I think there isn't enough emphasis on people going for records in powerlifting. I think a lot of people have that stigma of, oh, it's a record, it's great, but total is king and get the PB is king. So for me, I like records, to be honest with you, but ultimately the goal will always be pushing that PB. But I did say to my coach, to Wes, that we will pull a record. I was quite close to it in the British selections meet, but so we'll put that to bed. But ultimately, we still want to have a good all-round performance. We're not going to sandbag squats to pull the deadlift. We're not going to sandbag bench to pull the deadlift. We're not going to change my approach for the week to pull the deadlift. We're not going to do any of that. We will pull it, put the measures in place, form on it, but we don't put the record over everything else.
Yeah, I think it's one of them ones like, again, anyone that watch you lifting at the Arnold, no one will say sandbag your squat or your bench for a bigger pull. Do you know what I mean? You went in for as a lifter competing, just getting as much as you can. That's what we saw, by
Yeah,
the way. From
yeah.
the other side, that's what we saw. So yeah, it was an incredible performance right there, mate. Congrats again. So yeah, Ade, of course, yourself, you had an amazing day, right? Before we even get to your day, I know you were there, you witnessed this 391 bin pull in person because Sanchez was the last person to come out and pull it. So, what was your reaction when
I
that bar
didn't
was
see the
covered?
I didn't see the so I didn't see the 391. I saw the 411 because it was still in between. So I didn't because when I'm usually competing, I don't look at anyone's thing. So
Mhm.
like until like mine's done. So I only saw the 411.
So even though,
But I was like, what the hell is going on? When that loaded, I was like, Jesus Christ, man. Because I was like, wait, what? I was like, because I thought it was like a placeholder initially. And I was like, but what's the placeholder for? And I was like, oh, he's actually going to go attempt this. Okay, cool, let's see this. But
I think the thing is, though, we were in Croatia when he Sanchez you opened with 355. That was your open, I think, and then you
Yes.
jumped 91. We all sat there thinking, what the fuck this man doing, man? Maybe he only has two pull. He's gonna try the 391 for the first one, right? If he miss it, he can adjust and give on the third. But then when he came out and you pulled it on these, everyone was like, holy shit, this has actually happened. You know what I mean? And then it almost pulled the Euros into a mute button because come on, a pool like that, no matter what pool is being done around the world, that's a pool to celebrate. So yeah, just to say, everyone was watching it. No one will tell you I wasn't watching. Everyone literally was. And of course, Ade, with what you did is that I mean, your performance at the Arnold's, a lot of people have asked me this, especially internationally. People have said, where's this man coming from? Who's this guy? Because everyone know the three in Britain just being me, Owen internationally. So when they saw this massive performance, we all got questions. I mean, my response was always like, the problem with powerlifting is people do not watch other people closely. They only see the consistent name they see on the platform, thinking these are the only name that we know. These are the only name that can lift. But there's other people out there doing the work. So personally, us, we were not surprised with the performance because that's you were due a meet like this. But the way it happened, it just blew all of us. If you ask me, and what would Ade compete to Adiano, that would tell you he has about 815, 820 in him, right? And then I wouldn't be surprised if we get 820. So for you to load for 840, not even load for 840, as soon as you hit your second deadlift, I sat there in Estonia, all of us said, he have to load for the world record total because
oh yeah.
have anything to lose. So sorry, mate, blowing a little too much smoke on your ass because I was excited. Sorry about that. So anyway, leading to
Enough blazing. Oh god.
leading to this yourself, what was this something you were planning to do, or is something just came on the day you felt strong? Because you know what, let me go all out.
To be fair, like I think the total, like, so I was saying this at Sheffield when Mo was asking me because I was like, because based on my last block, because I knew I had like 835 in me, but I made some changes because like my deadlift didn't feel as strong as it should have felt. So obviously I made some changes leading to this block, and obviously after like my last week, I knew that I had like 837 to 845 in me, and it was just a matter of like let's see what the day holds. Because I went in, because I told like Jacob my range was 300 to 305, 187, 190, and then 347 to 352. So I was like, that's what I was going to go for on the day because I knew that's what my strength would be. And obviously, as the day went on, it's just strength was there. So just like, cool, just went in. The only thing I was like, only slight changes were bench because obviously they had really long holds. My opener, so I lowered bench because I was like, the 170 in my 175 opener was just super like, I was there for ages. I was like, what's going on? But I think someone ended up moving him because the spotters were blocking the ref, so they couldn't see. So they ended up making us all of us hold for a long time until they moved out of the way, and then it was fine. So I think bench was slightly lower than it should have been, but then my third was like really moved really well, so I knew I had more. And then deadlift just went according to plan. And then just annoyed with the last deadlift because I was like, because I don't know what happened. My like right knee locked out earlier than my left knee, and then it just tipped, but then it felt great. So I was just annoyed that I couldn't like add that on.
I
But
mean, he flew off the floor. It's not even, to be fair, we all watch it. We said, look, if you don't get that on the platform, at least that should be a gym PB. That's what I mean. Because the way he came off of the floor, it was ridiculous. That's why probably some of us were sitting there thinking, if he has locked that 350, why didn't he just load for the world record tour? Is this
Yeah.
something that you thought maybe, you know what, I don't want to do it, or is you overstretching, or is something you could have just
Because I think the world record would have been I would at least load 355, but like my range for the day was like 352, and I thought I'd just cap it there. I didn't want to go past that. So like, and then I think going in, it was just a matter of like, it's not really worth it because if I can do 840, the world record will be there in the future. Like, so there's no point like pushing too far, just kind of hit what's there. So it was like, wasn't really worth chasing because even then, like, even if I hit it, like, I feel like by the time
But if you had hit it, just imagine Russ coming to world. He's not breaking Delaney's record. He's breaking
this record, that'd be hilarious. But I don't know. It was just like it wasn't really. It was kind of after my bench reduction, it was like to be honest, I need to overstretch the lift. I was like, there's no real point. It's just like what's there is the 840 is good. I'll move on. Next meet, I can shoot for a bit more.
So how does it feel now, knowing that you're sitting at home, you knowing you are the best lifter that Britain ever produced in terms of like GL point? At the moment you sit at the pinnacle, you are the top of everybody, and the rest of us are just watching you from Earth. You're sitting on the. How does it make you feel?
Okay. So with that, it's like I wouldn't even say it's that deep because I'm not that far ahead realistically. Like, because even then, like you're only like 0.7 points away from insurance. It's not like I'm like 5, 10. Yeah, it's not far. So it's not like I don't feel like there's enough distance for me to go. Oh yeah, like I'm the big boss. Like it's not. I wouldn't say it's that significant. It's like it's nice to hit it, but it's like it's not my actual inherent goal. I would say like it's not my target to be the best male in the GB. Like it's nice, but it's not like my inherent goal. I think what I'm really chasing is like my own progression and like hitting like a total I'm happy with. So like all this other stuff I think is nice to hit, but I think when I stay away from that, I tend to like do silly things with training and like chase people and like do all these silly things. If I just kind of focus on doing the best I can do and trying to dial in like my externals, that kind of thing, I end up doing a lot better and I'm a lot happier than if I want to be the best like male lifter or best lifter in GB. Then I'll like I'll go to training, I'll do like my goals. I'll just add 10 kilos on because I'm like, I've got to do this. So like, yeah, it's nice, but it's not my goal. So
I've always said this to people. To me, accolades, performance, and all of that stuff, they will just come, when you do the work. And sometimes people think we focus on numbers or we focus on winning things, but sometimes, as you said there, you just want a performance. We all just want a performance. Sanchez will say the same. I don't think Sanchez will go there and thinking, oh, I want to break world records, deadlifts. I want to push as much as I can. No, he's just chasing a performance that can make you a better lifter. Do you know what I mean? And for the past week, especially you, Ade, what you did, you fucking just threw me under the bus, right?
I can't imagine what DMs are like because I think leading into this, I was getting annoyed by people that were like, during this
everywhere to the point where some people even telling me, so if there is a place, an international place for world, I should be dropped and they should be going and all of that shit. And I'm just thinking,
I'd be so angry. I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm just saying, people, calm down. Do you know what I mean? He's the best lifter on we have in the country. It's true. It would be amazing to see him at world and all of that stuff. But people, calm down, please. Literally, like they hit a goal with just like, oh, do you think now that Ade's gonna total A70, A60, and you can't even hit 10 times body weight? Who's gonna get 10 times body weight? Or just like, you know what? Fuck off, you guys.
Nah, I think I'd block people to death to me. I'm like, this is crazy.
So
now, I was even getting annoyed because people messaged me saying that, oh, you did 823, and then I was like, oh, chip during sting. I was like, but that's not my goal. Like, I've got my own targets to hit. Like, Jury's had a 9 for 9 day. Like, let him enjoy his total. Let him enjoy his win. Like, I'm not worried about what Jury's is doing.
You say Jury's had a 9 for 9, but Jury's had a third squat, bro. You know what? The last time I had a third squat in international, never. You know what I mean? So that was, to me, the Euros. I was not even enjoying about it, winning the Euros or totaling 823 or whatever. It's a third squat that I don't get, and I'm finally getting a third squat. So I'm telling people, fuck off. I'm getting a third squat. I don't care what you guys say. So yeah, Sanchez saw they become an 83 enjoyment here for us. Sorry.
No
Um,
worries.
so I know you went to the Arnolds, of course. You have got other 105s in the country as well in your weight class that are pushing. So we had Ben at the Euros as well. So when you finished your Arnold's performance, was it something you were probably measuring yourself to Ben, or was it something like shit what Ben does at the Euros?
No, I expected Ben to push his PB on. I expected Ben to be in the 850s, probably around the 885 mark, to be honest with you. And yes, obviously I had the YOLO pull at the end, but that was a little bit of entertainment, I think. And in my mind, I've not followed deadlift in years, to be honest with you. So we wanted to know where the limit was. The limit was a little bit higher than we thought. Even though it was a failed pull, it will work in my favour going forward because we know where we're at and we know what to do next. Uh, so obviously, I didn't realise what Ben Pate did until I think the next day, till Saturday afternoon, and I watched it. So, like I said, being 1 kg ahead in the minutes, you know, being the best 105 currently in the UK is a great accolade. But I think, as we were saying before we started, it may not matter in terms of world selections. And I just think the way the American team have done PA Nationals and, those guys over there, they all lifted and they got their seats to Worlds before they left the building. I think maybe that's something that we need to do in British powerlifting, have a criteria for Worlds, give everybody, a specific target to say, well, look, if you get this total, or if you're number one by this cut-off date for Worlds, you will be getting your seat on that plane. So as I said, I think it all remains to be seen. I wasn't chasing Ben Pate just to put the record straight. As I said, it for me it was improving on my total. I had a slight injury 2 weeks out squatting. Got a back injury. A little slight mistake. Um, I didn't fasten my belt correctly, so I was one hole loose on the SBD belt. And I did my heaviest double of prep. I did feel my back kind of go a little bit low on the low back on the first rep, but we finished it off. We did the double, and then at the end of that, I still pulled 375 for a double. But we was after that
Yeah, this guy. Me, I get one flare up and I'm gone for months. The guy says I had a flare up and I did 375.
Yeah. So yeah. It was my penultimate SVD day.
Man, you have a titanium back, mate. You need to tell me and Ade what do you eat, bro, to have a back like that.
Christ, man.
Well, look, I had our favourite bearded warrior in the gym at the same time as me, so it was definitely had my inspiration to carry on with the session. But going into the competition, it was obviously slightly on my mind. I was still quite sore anyway, and I was wanting to get all my squats in, nice and healthy, get the bench in without cramping. My last couple of competitions, I've been cramping quite heavily on bench, so I made adjustments. Definitely took on a lot more electrolytes, a lot more water, a lot more salts after reloading, and then obviously I was ready for the pull on that. But as I said, in terms of chasing anybody, not really. I know if I string another couple of blocks together going on towards the end of the year and next year, my 105 total will be well out of reach compared to everybody, and you can stand by that. As long as I stay healthy, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I will be out of reach for a lot of guys.
100%, 100%. Yeah, Ade, yourself, I mean, what Sanchez said there in terms of like, because you and Sanchez, realistically, when you look at things in the grand scheme, is you're pretty much in the same position where you've total about a kilo and a half more Of course, you did 1.5 kilos more than me, and Sanchez, I think you did 1 kilo more than Ben at the Euros.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to get your thought on this because the British powerlifting family have this perception, a different perception for what's gonna be happening in the world. Because the truth is, everyone expecting Sanchez and Ade to be on the team, right? And everyone expecting more to be on the team, right? So you guys are sitting in the same position, both of you, in terms of like these selections. So what's your thoughts on this, Ade?
To be fair, I've tried, man. I've emailed, I've messaged. Like, I think it's a thing of like I am frustrated, but again, like it's my own fault. Do you get what I mean? Like I'm the one who put myself in this position. Like, granted, the issue was obviously slight. It's just a thing of like I didn't even expect it to happen to me. Like I didn't, because obviously like it was just an issue of I thought I'd be wait at home. Scale was off, got in, and it was just like, oh, that was it. And I was like, it just seemed like such a silly thing that I wouldn't expect to happen to me. So I was like, fair enough. So obviously, it kind of has cost me the place to go Worlds this year. So I am obviously frustrated, especially because Russ is coming back, and you guys are going to be there. Just be a great competition to be part of, especially all the US team coming in. It'd probably be the most viewed Worlds of all time.
Yeah.
So it's like getting to miss that, it just hurts. Do you know what I mean? It's like just being part of that is just would be crazy. So it's like would love to be part of it. But again, if I don't, there's always like it's next year, or there's obviously other competitions I can be part of. But it's just it'd be really special to like get the US team coming in because they might not be there next year. They might just because some of them are saying they want to do like a sweep and go back home. So it's like you might not get an opportunity to like go against them again. Because if they do a sweep, they ain't coming back next year. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Again, what you said that this year world is it's not me being harsh or me being a dick to you too, but this year world probably is not gonna happen again, right? In terms of like what we're getting on the rosters. Because remember, 2024 people are qualifying for the World Games. So the question now, and plus there's Sheffield in 2025. The question now, how many of these big names are we gonna have next year at World? You know what I mean? Because the World Games is just gonna be a few months later. Would they come to World rather than go to the World Games? So that's the question mark. And then
Oh yeah, I didn't even
some
I
people,
completely forgot about World Games.
yeah, as Adam mentioned, some people have to go personal life goals and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I can't understand your frustration. If I was in your same boat as you, I would probably be frustrated. You know, I would be pissed. Not at anyone. I would be pissed at myself
yeah,
because
true.
and then the other thing as well with you guys, when you look at it, you didn't oversee the Arnolds that you will have such an amazing day like you guys did, right? And then now you put you in a position, oh shit, if I go to World, I could probably podium or I could probably beat this person or that person. Because again, powerlifting is one of those sports like, as much as we can sit there and predict where your top hand is, it's only a day when it's lucky is on your side to get that good day. We've seen people like Jesus at the best prep ever. He went to Sheffield. We all saw what happened, even though he had a game plan. So it's one of them when you have an amazing meet, you just praise the Lord that you had an amazing meet because you don't know tomorrow, you don't know after that. But
Yeah,
again,
exactly. Like you don't even know if you have this kind of prep again.
yeah,
Like
but you have a chance because age is on your side. Sanchez, no offense. Me and
Yes, it's not on my side. Tell some masters.
yeah,
wait, how old are you?
35.
Really?
Yeah,
Man,
35.
okay. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Jesus, old guys.
Yeah, but old man strength here.
I'm not the only 35 in the team. So I think Sanchez, from now on, when you pull 390, you should say 391 kilo at 35 because
Yeah, I'll put that on next time.
so
No.
again, like the question, this is come to you. Probably, I will start with you, Sanchez, in terms of like for you to be able to load 391 and then go 411. Was the 411 an intentional lift, or was it just like, okay, I already got a world record. Let me just upset some of the big names out there and I'll pull Jesus. Was it that an intention?
Well, ultimately, I wanted trying to get a bit closer towards like I said, I expected Ben Pope to do 885, no problem. Mr. Consistent. I expected that. However, I had an internal goal of trying to get as close to 890 as possible. It wasn't a case of looking at Ben Pope saying, "Oh, he's going to get 885, or I want to get 890." I just believed that I could get 890. But the 890 measurement was based upon a 300 squat, which I didn't attempt because my second attempt, I totally screwed up my foot placement or slightly too wide and made a slight meal of it. Intentionally, it was completely my own fault. This is what it is, and I put it right on the third, which moved quicker as a 295. But we thought we'd be slightly conservative, not chase the outright 300, which I knew I had the strength for. Get the 295 in, which then meant at the end I think I had to pull 417.5, which is what we put in. And I believed I could do it, but then I thought, you know what, my coach he actually did put 411 on the plan. Which I was looking at it, I thought, you know what, look, as I said, the PB title's already been secured. We're at Arnold's. We could not necessarily do anything like this at any other world stage or any other international stage for that matter. Let's give the crowd what they want. Let's entertain, and let's do it under the lights. As I said, I think powerlifting is one of them sports where people forget the entertainment aspect. It's still a sport. We may not be dynamic like strongman or athletics or anything like that, but people like to see people, lift the heaviest load off the floor, and 411 is the heaviest load off the floor. So, I did what my coach said. So there you go, Wes. I did what he said, and I did obviously attempt the 411 as that final attempt. But at the end of the day, as I said, the PB total was secured, and that gave me the mileage to do whatever I wanted, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, again, as you said, sometimes when you're on those big platforms, or especially you guys had a crowd, do you know what I mean? The crowd you had, probably people that are going to be to our world, or people that us that were at the European. We didn't have that type of crowd. I've done it Arnold before, and I know how big the crowd can be. So it's not every day, unless some of us here will end up on a Sheffield crowd, but who knows? Especially now Ade might not make the team. He's the only one probably that couldn't make that Sheffield crowd. And we're talking about maybe 2026 now, Ade. Do you know what I mean?
Don't do this to me, man. I just get depressed. Oh God. No, because I punched in, like, I was like, do you know what, man? I'm like, we found 98% off. It's not far, and so are you.
How old are you again?
25.
Oh, 20, man, you can't even talk. 25, even I said 2020, even 2030, bro. You still got time.
Yeah, but World Games, like...
Bro, you miss World Game in 2025, 2029, another World Game, you still got time. You know what I mean? So unless if you decided to go 105, like some people are moving up. So yeah, unless if you do that. But anyway, yourself, Adam, of course, you hit 825 on your second, and you decided to go 850 because, again, 350 because as you said, your top end was 352. You just decided to go for that. Was like, because if you taken 5 kilo off that, or any number you would have taken, 830, 835 would have been there on the day, and that would have been probably on the RP 9 or 8.5. Literally, still that would have scared all of us. We're still scared, but we wouldn't even get worried. Do you know what I mean? If that happened. So was it something you're thinking, you know what, I don't care about that 830? Because I remember when you moved to the 74, after you did I think you did Europeans, you moved to 74s. Your first post, you said, I'm moving to the 83 for 10 times body weight.
Yeah.
I remember that. So was it not in your mind, or you thought to yourself, you know what, fuck this 10 times body weight. I need to do more what I can do on the day.
I felt like with how 335 moved, I felt 350 was there. So there was no point me dropping it for it, because I thought it was going to move. So if I had doubt, I'd be like, I probably just dropped it more, but I just felt it was there. So why not just go for it? And it was there. It's just a slight technique issue, which I will be addressing this block. And then, added in some what's called some ISO hold as well for my knees. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. But yeah.
I mean, your performance, if you look at all your top, I mean, your top range in terms of like where your strength was. Again, a lot of people are coming up to me on DM saying if I think you would be able to beat Russ if you go to World. I think what I'm saying to people is I can't base one performance on what Russ has done because as much as we are all 83, we compete against him, he's still ahead because
Oh
of
yeah, no, I had this conversation as well. It's like if I have a perfect day, if you have a perfect day as well, let's say we both do 8:45, right? Ross on a bad day, he does 8:60. There's still 15 kilos difference. And I still have Ross doing around like 870 something. I think he does maybe 872, like for like a little bit of a push. And that is what, like 20 kilos difference. It's like, guys, like we still have to make accelerated progress to want to compete against him. He has to have like a bad day, and we have to have like a great day for us
I've,
to win. Do you
I've,
see what I mean? It's like,
I've been saying to everybody, even though we all going to, when I saw Ross 860, I literally said, "Do you know what? I might as well just go to work and get my Wildlife Media package and go home." Do you know what I mean? People don't think about anything. But
yeah, like,
what pushed all of us is the Jesus speech. I don't know if you guys heard it.
oh yeah, and I was hyped after that.
Yeah,
I
some
was
of
like,
it.
nah, I was like, you can't come in, you can't, and now I can't even compete against. Oh man, I just get more upset because it's like the guy basically said,
I will not be on that platform. That third squad will get you for you. I'll be like,
honest to God, like Paul, please come on, let us in.
I think it's the speech. When as soon as I heard that speech, I was sitting literally like relaxed. When I heard that speech, I said to myself, "Oh fuck, I need to go back to training. Even if this is gonna kill me, I have to kill me." Do you know what I mean? Because again, it's not about we going there to be a person or to be a lifter. Go there and be competitive, right? Make Russ think about what number you need to put next. You know what I mean? That's what we're going there for. So it's gonna be again, as I said, I think it's like yourself, Sanchez, saying, "Okay, if I go to World, I'm gonna be Ashton." I mean, come on. You know what I
Not
mean?
yet.
Exactly. So, but you go to World and be competitive. You know what I mean? Make Ashton think what's my third deadlift going to be, what my second is going to be. Do you know what I mean? That's what we all. But again, I think I'm right to say this. I know I'm going to get a lot of sticks on when this drop. These American, they're far ahead of us. They're really ahead of the entire world. So when they're coming in, they have to have a bad day for us to have a chance. But again, as I said,
Or we have a great prep and we make up the difference.
but mate, a great prep. You saying great prep? What? Take my sport, go to World and total 870. Go on. You know what
Actually, now
I
870 is not like
mean?
within. If I have three good blocks, it's doable. Like 315, 195, 362. It's very doable. It's just if I can have three good blocks, it's doable.
That's we now we're talking here. We got 12 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By the
But
time
again, like he could also do the same thing and add on. Yeah.
exactly, he could total 880 or 890. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So all I'm saying, like they are ahead of us, but the reality is because it's powerlifting. Sanchez, you touched this earlier. It's powerlifting. You don't always get super meat every single day. Do you know what I mean? You can turn up to a meet where everything just feels trash, and then you end up with the other person end up winning or whatever. Look at what happened to Mandes and all of that. The Canadians. I was not expecting none of them totaling 770. I was expecting them to hit over 800, but it is what it is. It's powerlifting. I mean, bringing you guys back to, of course, your performance again. This is what everybody are talking about. So, what's the plan for the future now? If you guys don't make that international team,
So plan for me is literally I'm prepping like I'm going, and then if I don't hear anything when everyone gets their invites, I'll just change my course to Manchester Open. But I also think there's silent work. I was chatting to Mo about this today. I think there's silent work and it might be me. So I might do
don't
that.
worry, bro. Don't worry, bro. I'm gonna drug you there. Don't worry. I'm drugging you. Don't worry about it. When the
So
time
like,
comes, I'm drugging you there.
yeah, so I think it'll either be Manchester Open or silent worker, and then either that it will just be waiting for nationals really for me. What about you, Sanchez?
900 nationals, no competitions between now and then. If obviously if I'm not going to Worlds,
Okay.
900's got to be done. Can't leave Money Mo at the top as the only 105 in GB history to hit 900. It's I think looking around the landscape now, looking at the other 105s, I see the ones that are coming also. One that just actually won the British bench 3 weeks ago, Mr. Liston. So I think the competition for 105 is going to be fierce. Currently, we have under 120s is probably the best category that we have in this country. But I think nationals, 105s is going to shock everybody. And I think if you're not earmarking yourself for a 900 total, it's not you're not going to win it as a 105. And running the numbers with the 105s currently and their performances this year and towards the back end of last year, I think there'll be quite a few set faces that'll squat over 300 and 105 and won't even hit the podium. So I'm definitely going to be all geared up for that. As I was saying off camera earlier on, next week I'll go back into prep with the intention of Worlds. However, if Worlds doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It doesn't change my attitude to basically peak at the end of June, which when Worlds is, which then gives me some foresight into what I can do in November at Nationals.
Yeah, it's a fair bit of time, 20 weeks, I think, between. But okay, so you wouldn't want to do a meet or would you just want to like peak and then just do a gym total and then or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of gym totals and plastering it all over social media to say, oh, I've done X training week and blah 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 blah. But I just think if I don't go to Worlds, I still think that I need to show that look, I was ready, and that the selectors was wrong for not taking me, and I was capable of putting up this number. So that's just a bit of ego, a bit of arrogance there. And like I said, from now till we've got what 12, 13 weeks or so ish, something around there. I think that's the perfect time to get back in prep and stick with some good numbers.
Yeah, no, we got hella time in between. Like,
please, guys, we don't do this. We are old, so we're going to be competing in Lithuania, and you guys, if you don't make it in the same week, either you do age 60, Sanchez, you do 905. How's that fair? Come on.
Me, I'm not peaking. I'm okay. I'll just defer because I've got Manchester Open. I'll just defer it to that instead.
Give me some time. Me, I got an excuse. Ben doesn't have an excuse because he's young, Sanchez. Me, I got an excuse to add. If I add the total, whatever you need to, I'll say I'm old and I have a kid. So that's my excuse. So I have a valuable excuse. But anyway, again, guys, I know we joked a little bit about it. But you spoke about, of course, the plan for this year. Sanchez spoke about the national. We all know the national is going to be really tough. And again, the 105 probably, you see that battle that we had in 2022 at that national we had in, can't remember anymore, Colchester, that deadlift battle. And I'm thinking this is coming this year, it's just not going to be a deadlift battle because there's no deadlift battle in the 105. No one can impact anyway. We'll have more about total battle. The total battle will be there, which will be very exciting.
And ultimately, it'll be down to those guys to maybe put someone on the bar that I can't pull. And it won't be 411, put it that way.
Please don't load 411, please, because you want to scare everybody.
411, honestly, it won't be enough from November. Now I've had a feel of it. I've got it above my knee. It's not going to be much longer run until I put it up straight.
So is it I'll save this question for the next one. So let me just ask Ade this one yourself in terms of the national. Do you have a particular number in your head, or is it just on the day what I need to be me and Kunz?
I've not really thought about I feel like for me, my goal is for not even this year, it's next year. I've got a specific number which I won't share, but I've worked backwards from that. So obviously I've got specific milestones. So if I was to go Worlds, my milestone is 872, which would be 315, 195, 362. And I don't really see past that, depending on if I get there and then I worry about everything else. So I think that's what my next target is. And then again, I don't even know if I'll worried about nationals right now is too far away because again, what if I'm injured in between and bad plans to change? I'm just worried about like what's in front of me right now, and I think that just works better. Regarding what you and Kunz be doing, I don't even know. Like when I'll see it in training, and then
Bro,
I'll
look, let's be the truth. Let's tell the truth. I'm not gonna be doing A70. There's no way. So that British title? I'm not coming. If you're gonna do A70 at the national, fuck it, take it. I'm not coming. You know what I mean? So I don't know about Kunz, but me, I'm always been a very transparent guy in terms of like when it comes to these numbers. I don't really chase numbers. I just do numbers what I need on the day.
yeah,
So if the strength is there, I'll go for it. If the strength is there for me to win the national again, even if it take 900, I don't give a shit. I'll put 900 and I'll win national. If it's not there, it's not there. So I've always been that type of guy. If you ask me what's the next number, I don't know. I'm even going to World here. I just received my invite today. I'm going to World. I don't know if someone asks me what you're going to total. I can't tell you I'm going to total the world record or I'm going to total 10 times. I will total what I need to total in the day because there's one thing, right? A lot of people, especially again, what your performance added, a lot of people have come back to me asking me, oh, if you're competing in Britain, what would you have total? If it was this and that. People don't realize sometimes when you're competing, you're only hitting the numbers that you need to hit to win. Do you know what I mean? I had
yeah,
an amazing 2022 at the national. It's because I didn't need to hit a number to win because I didn't have no one chasing. Do you know what I mean? So I had the freedom to pick. Mate, I went for 282 to 303 squat second. Do you know what I mean? All of these numbers picked because I have the luxury to do that. I don't think if I'm competing against you or Kunt, I will be doing that. There's no way I'll be doing that. I'll be more about conservative in terms of what do I need to hit to win. That's why I
yeah,
don't really choose numbers when it comes to competition because I'm a flop. So what's the
yeah,
point?
yeah. I think, but with choosing numbers, so like I'm not. It's a thing of like because when I choose it, I base off my next like block goals off it. So like I know for this block, I've got 270 triple planned, 175 triple and bench, and I've got 297. If I hit those, and I know I'm on track to hit my next block goals, and then I know if I hit that again, I know like the total's there. And that, but if I don't hit that, then I know like obviously the goal will change then. So I'm not gonna like to go for it if I know like I failed this block and I failed the next block. I'm then not gonna go for it because I know it's not there. So it's like it just helps kind of gives me a clear path to what I know I've got in a time because like that way training is really predictable for me. So like I know like the last few meets I've been able to call my numbers like perfectly because I know what's there.
Yeah,
And that's it's kind
that's
of like
great insight. That's the insight some people outside that bubble of yours people don't get. When you come and say, okay, I'm gonna be hitting like a 50 or a 60 or a 70 or a 80, people just thinking like, what the fuck does he think he is? He can't just be hitting these numbers. But again, as you said, there is things in your blocks, in your trainings that you hit and it probably gives you that confidence that you can be hitting those numbers because in the past, I'm sure you've tried it and it has
yeah,
worked. So it's not something you just like chatting. So yeah, this is interesting. So my second question to you too is moving up weight classes because
yeah,
especially you are there, you're 25,
yeah.
um, you don't want to be in 83 for long like me. Do you know what I mean? Me, I don't have a chance. Do you know what I mean? I have a chance. That time is gone. So
It
is
is
it
still
something
it,
you're thinking moving up in the next few 3, 4 years, or is it something you will stick forever as an 85? I'm more than happy for you to stay around so me and you can be going back and forth. I can do
I
that.
think yeah, but to be fair, you could go up if you wanted to. You really could. It wouldn't
Is
be
it,
really that hard.
I need to eat and I need
Yeah.
to make weight. I need to put on weight. I don't have time for that.
Yes, I feel like it's a lot easier than you think. If you really want to, because I had that inherent thought when I was gonna move up that it would be too hard to do. And then once you start doing it, and then like you get a flavor for all this food, it's amazing. So
But as you said, you hit A70 this summer, no matter what meet you did, I'm going 93.
okay. So I'll come and find you there as well.
It's fine. You hit 70, I'm going 93. I don't care. I'm
Nah,
saying, fuck it, bye bye.
nah, I think like in terms of moving up, I think I would like to move up. I think I'll probably have another year in 83s realistically, because I'm sitting around 86.4. I could stay there for longer if I obviously do more cardio and do that. Because I did do that from December to just doing cardio every day. It's easy to manage, but I feel like we just get a lot bigger. So what's the point in staying? Because I've already done 74, 83s. I think 3 years each weight class is kind of enough. And then, depending on, because I would have loved to do, if I did got to do Worlds this year, I'd probably move up next year. But if I don't, I'll probably stick around for another year because, yeah, it's just worth doing. And then we'll just kind of see how things go from there. But I think I would probably move within the next year or so. Yeah.
What about yourself, Sanchez?
Well, I'm supposed to be 120 this year. So, so the plan was to go to British selections last year as my last 105 minutes. But I kind of surprised myself a little bit with the total of 860. Obviously, I had a little bit of rivalry with certain someone there as well. And it was literally probably the first, it was definitely my best performance to date at that point. Coming off the back of Western Euros, which was only 10, 11 weeks beforehand, where I didn't have the best performance, but I still got gold. So I thought, well, okay, great. British selections, great performance. It probably wasn't the best conditions in terms of deep winter up north. But, it was a total to, make everybody take notice, even yourself, where you ask me, where that's come from. But it still wasn't good enough, right, to get Euro selection, but it was still good enough to go into the international selection pool for 2024. So going to the international selection pool for 2024 meant ultimately I was going to stay as a 105 for this calendar year. Obviously, Arnold's gave me opportunity to then obviously build on that total for the sections meets. So ultimately, we're pushing the under 120 target probably into 2025 now. I will definitely 100% go to British Nationals as a 105. As I said, there's a few 105s here now that have the potential to total well over 850 and push 870 upwards. They've got the time to do it. Their training looks good. And I believe it will be an exciting battle, reminiscent of the deadlift battle, as you said, in 2022 in Colchester. But this time it will be total. There'll be a lot more strategy there. And it won't all be left to a deadlift battle at the end, just because there will be no battles over there. But ultimately, as I said, I think it will be total battle in terms of 900 takes it, or slightly over. And that excites me as a 105. Have I got enough time to put the size on and the required strength on to be competitive as a 120 between now and November? Ultimately, no, I don't. And as I'm quite a competitive person, and if I'm not vying for a podium position, I don't want to be there. As simple as that.
Makes sense. I mean, for me personally, like in terms of moving, again, I don't know, you mentioned there, you said it's easy if I wanted to. I think this prep leading to Croatia is the only prep I've ever done where I consistently sat at 85. Right. So I didn't drop my drastic drop to 82 or 83 and go up. So I consistently sat there even when I did my big SPD powering through. I mean, I'm the type of guy, right? It's so strange. Every time I don't really take pre-workout when I do my training. I don't. It's just on the peaking season. That's why when things are starting to hit the fans, a little bit like, so look, I need a little bit of caffeine. I took one scoop of 110. I did my big SPD there, I'm powering through, I think 840 I did. Literally, I drove home for an hour, got home. Before I jump on the bath, I got on the scale, I was 83.9 from 85. Do you know what I mean? So my body does lose weight when I take pre-workout. So again, it's one of them ones where, because this is the first comp and first prep, I stayed as 85. I just want to see leading to world if we can get a little bit heavier. Let's see if we get 86, 87, how I will feel, because I don't know how it feels being 86, 87 in terms
Feels
of
great.
training weight. Do you know what I mean? So I want to get there and we see how it goes. But in terms of moving, are they the same thing you said, probably 2025 for me, 2025, this time probably I'm going to be, you know what, let me go up because there's one goal I need to fulfill in the A3. I still believe there's a goal in the A3 I haven't done. I need to fulfill that. I came second in the world, which is great, fantastic. I think there's still more in there to give in the A3. When I'm done, and then probably the time will come for me to go up. But before I do that, I will be floating around the summer doing some meet where I don't need to cut. Basically, what I did last year, the silent workout. So I don't need to cut. I just go in as whatever I weigh in just to see that strength where it is, because the reality is we all know the 93s in our country. Let's not talk about world, right? If you go on the world level, that's a different ball game. Even in our country, the 93s, they stacked. So it's not a weight class you just go in and thinking I'm gonna go and perform and do well.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? It's something you need to flirt in first to see where you are. That's why.
I feel like just jumping in head first is just way more. I don't know. I find it way more fun to just go head in and just kind of see. Obviously, it takes longer, but I get what you're saying. Obviously, during Sanchez, of like obviously just like testing waters, coming in, going back, seeing how you kind of obviously stacking up yourself slowly, and then obviously when you're closer, then you move. But I feel like just making a decision just to kind of go head in is just a lot more fun because like you can straight away start to see the distance. And I think that's just exciting for me. Because if I know like, I've got this guy's 50 kilos ahead of me, training will just feel a lot better because I've got like a target, someone like there. But like if we're somewhat close, it's not as fun. It's like a big distance, it's just more exciting for me.
Yeah, I think when the time come for us to move up, or even Sanchez, when the time come for yourself to move up to 120, I believe those total we have now in the 193s and the 120s in our countries, they will get bigger. Do you know what I mean? And by 25, I expect 120, 970, 980 will be there for the likes of Tony Cliff, Indy Moore, and whatever. Do you know what I mean? They will be there. And then 93s for our case, Ade, I think the A70, A80, or close to A90, I think they'll be there. I mean,
sure. Like,
Max
will easily put up like something silly before he goes 105. Like literally, I know he's gonna probably put up like.
Especially now he's pissed after what happened at the Euros.
Oh God, you'll do like 80 plus. I can see it.
I'm so scared of the 93 because I'm thinking anyone that go up against Christian now, if you're not ready, you end up just benching and going home because you look at subtotal thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, might just go home.
Yeah, because everything's trending really nicely as well. Like it just needs to obviously you'll just fix the little technique issue you had, and then like you'll just have like a huge increase in his total.
But it'll happen because he's been stuck at 845. People forgetting that 845 was 2022 when he did 845. So realistically, strength is not around 845. We're talking about 860, 870. And when it comes to 880, people are like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, but it's like yourself. You eat 825. People thinking, what the fuck is Ade done? Yeah, but when you look at your strength level, was not at 800 at the selection. At the selection, probably your strength level was by like 810, 815 at the selection.
Yeah, it was like 807, but again, I couldn't really push squats too hard because of not getting to recomp. Yeah.
So when you add that and then it also just blow everything apart, because again, Sanchez, we're talking about you here when you said your squat, you're aiming for 300, but you took conservative injuries you had. When you come to national, if you go on total 900, 905, I mean, people shouldn't be surprised because realistically, this comp, your strength probably was at 880, 890. Do you know what I mean? So when you took to 905, that's only 15 kilo you added. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going about it. So it's just like it's not a surprise to us when we see these big numbers coming and going. But the reality is, guys, British powerlifting is growing, right? My next question to you guys, I know you guys have watched the juniors. Me, I watched the juniors and they did scare me. I'm not gonna lie. Every single weight class I watch, I'm freaking go scared. The reason I go scared, not because like I'm thinking these youngsters are coming to beat us, is the fact that where our nation is gone from where we were in powerlifting is just blue and it's scary. So what's your thoughts? Let me start with you, Sanchez, in terms of like, of course you watch the juniors, you watch the 105s and you watch the 120s, like non-so and all of the class that you're going to be going for. So what's your thoughts?
Well, hands up, I haven't watched it. I
Oh,
watched a little. I watched a little bit of the 69 ladies earlier in the week, but I was on holiday, so I missed the 105s and 120s. If we want to pick out on Nunzo, I did see on socials what he did, and it's absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. I met him at Arnold's, really nice guy. So I wish him the best for last week. Hitting 900, 903 at 19 years old is an absolutely incredible feat of strength. Um, I was actually blown away by that. In terms of the standards of all the juniors and the sub juniors of last week, the snippets that I've seen, as I said, I haven't managed to watch it in full yet, and I will be doing it over the coming week. Um, the is going up. Honestly, I'm not sure what all these kids' parents are feeding them. I wish I was getting fed that stuff at 18, 19, 20 years old. They're absolutely incredible. And if life, you know, careers, husbands, wives, children do not get in their way over the next, 5 to 10 years for some of them, then, they are going to push British powers to new heights. And to talk to us a little bit, we were saying earlier about the Americans as a nation are much further ahead than us. I think, some of these kids have that potential because they've started so early to, really push at the world's level once they get to, that peak age of 30 to 35 or so, because they've started so young. And that's what I hope for them. Like I said, I just hope that life doesn't get too sticky once they graduate from university, they move out the mom and dad's bedroom, that type of stuff. And they can continue to push the sport going forward. And I'm interested to see what happens at nationals. I think now the age restrictions been removed, hasn't it? So they can come into the open, some of them, and it may give some of us older folk a bit of a shock on the day.
mm, I mean, incredible what you said there. The future is bright. So yeah, Ada yourself, I'm sure you probably watched some of them. I'm sure you didn't pass the 83 because mid 83 I was locked on, and everything I saw impressed me, and I was just like, for fuck's sake, these people, what are you eating? But yeah, what's your thoughts on everything?
Like to be fair, the 83, I was looking forward to it. 'Cause I watched a few. I think I watched 83 onwards for the men's. I think I was watching it like in between work and stuff, so I watched a bit of it. 83 I had to watch like the rest of it later because of my weight class. I'm more curious, but I think the battle was fun. I think takeaways. I was surprised by Joe's performance. I was expecting a lot more. Did okay, but I was expecting just a lot more from how his training went. Manson surprised me. Did not see the deadlift coming out. Didn't expect 330. What's his name? Pond Matthew. I thought he was going to win that. To be fair, I thought he was going to win it. Because he had a really good day. But I think he had a bit more on squats because he missed one due to depth. But he had a really good day, so I was surprised he didn't win. Just overall, like with how they did, it's exciting. But I wouldn't say like I'm surprised with because like you're young, like you're gonna progress ridiculously. It's just a matter of time before.
Oh, it's disappeared.
Probably the missus said like, oh yeah, you said 30 minutes and now you're still on Zoom with Durant. Probably thinking, yeah, you beat Durant already. Why are you talking to Durant? You beat him already.
That's it. You've already won.
Exactly. So I mean, again, I'll just pick up to what you said there. I think it was one of them ones like it's exciting to see where powerlifting in Britain is going, and my prayers is just for these juniors to stick around because we have a story in this country where juniors don't really stick around, especially when they come out of their mums and dads' house, or they go
Yeah.
proper full-time jobs and all of that stuff, and life get busy. People, a lot of them intend to just the first thing they will drop is powerlifting because of course, especially if there's no money in these sports, because you're not going to put time and dedication into this one. So hopefully some of them stick around, And non-tour performance, to me, I think we spoke about outliers, we spoke about talent, we spoke about freaks. I think is one of them, and then we should be proud. Is part of is Brit, and what Nonto is doing on the platform is just unheard of. It's never been seen before. At 19 years old, totally 903. I think I haven't. Come on, I've never seen that before. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's absolutely insane. His squat progression alone, let alone all the other lifts. The squat progression for me is what impresses me the most. Seeing him go from 105 to a 120. He's not even maxed out the weight category, right? He weighs in what, 116, 117, something like that. It's that to me is absolutely scary because 800 pounds over there within 12 months.
It's ridiculous because the thing is, even the other kid, Joshua. I mean, I watch him. There's one thing, right? People don't realize. I don't know if people see this. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's not about the strength. It's about how you make the weight look. This kid deadlift, the way he come off the floor, when he pulled his second at the juniors, in my head, if I just come to the screen telling me this kid is going for 400 kilos, I'll tell you, yes, he has 400 kilos. The way that deadlift come off the floor, even Jesus doesn't move a deadlift that fast. Do you know what I mean? This is the scariest part. What I'm saying, like, it scared me because that's what I want to saw that. I said to myself, if he's moving at 365 that fast like that, yes, of course, he didn't get a lift due to technicality and all of that. But if you look at the strength and the speed of that pull of the floor, mate, you're just thinking 400 is next year. It's just ridiculous about the progress of these kids, the way they're progressing. So, as I was saying, hopefully these kids can stick around for a while. I mean, you are the example probably everyone should look at. A junior that stuck around, but look at now it's paying off.
Yeah.
Many of the
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I started quite late, right? So I've not even been in the sport for 3 years. Yes, it was 3 years, 3 years in the summer since my first competition. And this is why, I will advocate all the juniors to stick at it for, towards that 30-year-old-ish mark when they know they're at their physical prime. And, all the naysayers, all the life trials and tribulation, careers, children, partnerships, all that type of stuff, just obviously say to stick at it because you will be fantastic.
yeah.
Obviously, us old guys have all the trials and tribulations, all the mortgages, all the careers, all that type of stuff, already in the mix. And I just think, if I knew what powerlifting was when I was 19, and I had the opportunity to do it, and there was the facilities and all that type of stuff, then yeah, it would have been something that I definitely would have jumped on board with, and something definitely I would have stuck with until I got obviously to peaking around the 30 years old of age. So, like I said, I could just say that, look, I've only been doing it for 3 years. I've just been a regular gym bro up until now, up until the last 3 years where I've taken it seriously to do powerlifting. So, as juniors, that doing absolutely fantastic over the last week, I just see them going into the stratosphere.
So stick around, guys.
I think I got cut off around.
Advise them because you have the experience of coming from a junior and now look at where you are. You're the finest lifter Britain ever produced. Can you please tell our juniors?
Not yet. I need more, man. I've not even won nationals. I've not won nationals.
Oh shit, for real?
No. I've won Euros. I haven't won nationals.
Oh mate. So you did that.
Literally, I've won Euros. I've podium at Worlds. I haven't won nationals because because the national is always too close to international meets. So I have to skip one.
So I'll take that title away from you. I'll give it back to Tony Cliff. So you don't.
Tony has too many accolades.
What advice do you have for our juniors? Because again, as we said, we're mentioning here, the juniors are incredible, especially in our country, what's coming up. But what do you have to say to them to stick around? Because we know some of them will fall.
Yeah. So I would say, like, I think just obviously because I've got my career at the minute, been going strong for like the last 2 years, obviously post university. I think the main thing is just obviously life hits you just because in terms of like you don't have the flexibility within when you can train whenever, other things. So like it becomes more of like a sacrifice in the sense of like you can't what's it called? You can't just do whatever you want in the sense of like, you have to have like a select routine, as in you've got work, you've got time to train. Even if things happen with life, you still have to find time to train, regardless. And trying to make your schedule fit around that is the only way you're going to survive, really. Obviously, if you can get home gym, great, do it. Like I'm probably going to go bench after this, but like I had deadlifts before. But it's like having the flexibility. If you can't like, if it's gonna be if it's something you want to do, I would advise you get a home gym. It just makes a hell of a difference. It's not too expensive as well. Like if you really want to do it, you can do it. Just to make life or have living close to a gym so you can pull it off. But the main thing is just getting a routine and sticking with it per se. But there's so much opportunity now in terms of what not just what you're giving to powerlifting, what you can get from powerlifting too. You can obviously build an audience. You can start off multiple businesses off powerlifting. Brands want to work with you because you powerlift. Like it's one of them. Like there's a lot you can get from powerlifting, but I'd say once you leave university, it does get a lot more difficult with obviously other commitments and obviously careers as well. Like obviously some of your mates are doing this, some mates are doing that, and you have to like, oh guys, I can't go out on a bender because I've got training tomorrow. Like I might have one or two cocktails. It's like it's enough. Like you got to do that. It's just this choice you have to make, really.
I mean, one of the things like I've people might not know this or might not believe this, but I've trained at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Same.
Do you know what I mean? So sometime is the only time you can fit certain things, and it has to be done. And these are the things the sacrifices some people can't make. So when you see some of us on the platform producing what we're producing, you're just judging us because on the platform, mate. You have no idea what I've done to get on that platform.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is my advice again, as you said there to the juniors that are coming up is stick around, find a routine, find what fits you, what's best for you. Because after that life of you having a job and life stress, sometimes it's difficult to juggle. It's so difficult to navigate. So if you have a plan, you have something that suits you, this will become a little bit easy for you to do. So again, like the call is just hopefully again, I'm praying for these juniors to stick around because as we know, they are the future of this federation, they are the future of these sports. And what they're showing now, we can easily, all of us can sit and say the future is bright if these kids can stick around. The future of powerlifting will be secure. And again, they are competing in one of the richest federation on the planet. I'm not saying we're the richest, but we are one of the richest federations on the planet, right? So it means like the federation is changing, the resources are changing, money will be thrown into them in terms of development. So if they stick around, the result will be there. And guys, my next one I will touch is, of course, you've seen all these nationals, the way they're being held. The better you've watched, do you think this year, leading into this year, the competition will get more exciting? Because I know, Ade, yourself, you've experienced the Manchester Open. To me,
Yeah.
Manchester Open was, apart from the international that we do, the Arnold, that was probably the best comp our country ever produced in terms of the production. Do you know what I mean? So you've experienced that. And for the bit you watch, like you watch bench, you watch equipped, now you watch the juniors. Do you think this year the meets will be different? They will be getting even more exciting or better?
Again, it depends. I feel it depends on who runs it. It depends on who has control over it. I would like it to improve, but I'm not hopeful. Just due to like people responsible for it. I would say, like obviously, I think people that are responsible for the juniors and Manchester Open are more innovative in terms of how they do meets, in terms of who is responsible for the nationals. I don't think they will want to incorporate those things unless the people who are in charge shift. Those are my thoughts. I don't really think it'll improve that much. But yeah.
Sanchez, what about yourself?
Yeah, so I think obviously Manchester Open was a bit of a wake up call for everybody. I was there in the audience, which was pretty cool, and absolutely incredible production. But I think overproduction, over live scorecards, and all that type of stuff, and great commentary. You just want to see the best people in the same flight, right? And I think obviously the British selections meets. Obviously, there was no marketing in terms of that. There was no marketing on social. There was no all these people are going to be here in the same flight. There's going to be no Tony Cliff in the same flight with Kunz, etc., etc. Um, Having a prime time at nationals when you get the best people in varying weight categories is ultimately going to be a lot more valuable to the average viewer than fancy visuals, fancy scorecards, and over enthusiastic commentary. People, as the average viewer, want to see the best together. They want to see the best lifters back to back. They want to see the best squatters back to back. They want to see people sticking up silly totals, not over the case of 3 days, over 93 105s and 120s and 120 pluses over 3 days traditionally. They want to just get us all into two flights in the evening and let us all have it. And that, for me, that will give the best benefit to the casual viewer because they only got to commit to one evening instead of three. And I think for me, it's down to the meet directors of what they want to do. But I think British selections gave everybody that ability to see that basically. That was effectively a dress rehearsal, but we had no marketing against that.
So like I think I get what you mean in terms of like but to be fair, what I'd say the market that went into the juniors is way better than the market that goes into nationals for us. Like there's storylines, there's hooks, like what everyone's capable of, you can see it, like the head-to-heads. That's exciting. Like I think if we can build something like that for our own, it'd be super great. Obviously, like we've got the matchup between me, Jurgens, Kunz, but all coming here. This is our totals. Even if you have like a bit of commentary after meet, like what you guys think you'll be doing, like I think that will kind of sell the story. I think it is difficult though to have fewer days. You need a lot more volunteers to make it run smoothly, and I don't think we have enough to pull that off. I think that's probably why we have obviously multiple days. I think it's just the sheer amount of volunteers we have available in a given day is the limiting factor for that. As well as also like what else is the limiting factor for I was gonna say actually on this point as well. What do you guys feel about, because I had this thought I saw this opinion on Instagram about reducing the amount of attempts we have. So we obviously have like 3 attempts per lift. What if you had 2 attempts per lift? And that could vastly decrease the amount of time that we are of the actual competition. And then we could obviously have more flights. What do you think of that?
For me, when we put it on the international level, I think that could probably be the way forward. The reason I'm saying that, for instance, Sheffield is a 4 5 hours meet. I don't want to be sitting there 4 5 hours watching people lifting. Do you know what I mean? That's a long time. Go to World, you go amen flight. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced an amen flight. When one person bomb out, it doesn't want to pull no attempt selection in. So you went from 8 to 7. You know what I mean? So to me, again, the 2 attempt selection there, what you say for each lift, I'll welcome that idea. I'll vote for it, and I think that will probably put powerlifting on the mainstream because it will slash time and me to run quicker, and plus people will have energy as well because when I only go 2 attempts, the energy is different. But when you go 3 attempts, the third one probably I'm gonna die. That's different. Do you know what I mean? That's my thought. I think that to me, that's what it should be. Going forward, probably IPF should look into something like that. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Because like
I think I was going to say for me, it does put a lot of risk into the sport. So
yeah.
I suppose just from an athlete's point of view, your last warm up is your first attempt.
Yeah, last one was the opener.
Right?
Yeah.
So it does make things very spicy because obviously if that doesn't obviously go the way you want, and then you drop your what we now call the opener, your first of 2, obviously that could already put people on the back foot. But I suppose if we're putting viewers front to center of this, then yeah, ultimately having 4 5 hour long meets where you know that literally 90% of the field gets their openers in, doesn't do anything for the viewer at all. It's just like the viewer will go up, get up, go get a coffee, get a drink, and come back down to watch the spiders build up on the second and the first. So it will be good for the sport, and it will, in terms of athlete training at least, make you train differently and put a big focus on strategy, which is
Go
cool.
Because I know you saw it. So what was your thoughts when you saw that idea?
So like I thought it was good, to be honest. I thought that, to be honest, why haven't we done it sooner? Because I don't really think, I think the inherent worry was people thinking that if you do it, people are gonna bum out. More people, but I feel like people will adjust. If you trialed it, I feel like people will in turn probably make smarter calls with their thirds opposed to just like held, because usually people only, like for example the French team, I would say they only really have 2 attempts usually. The third is kind of like if there's more, and I feel like that's just the strategy more people will take, as in like you only really have 2 good attempts, and then the and it would just scrap in like the third opener, which you could obviously just have like your last warm up. I think it makes a lot more sense. You just cut way more time out.
And my second to last question, guys, before we wrap up, it was, of course, guys, you I don't know if you've seen on social media. I think it was I think it was Sabrina that posted it at the Genius people's behavior in terms of like no respecting officials, people being pissed off because of the call they're getting on the platform. Um, One thing I could say is we have to have the strictest standards on that platform, that British platform. Because when we turned up at the internet, I mean, you guys was at the Arnold, so probably you had referees probably you've never met. I don't know if you have British, then you guys are lucky. But if you, I mean, you've been to the West End, Sanchez, and Ade, of course, you've
Yeah.
been to yours. You have referees that you never met. Some of them they don't even speak English. They don't laugh at you. They don't smile with you. They don't look at you. Do you know what I mean? So these basically they restricted people that would judge you. So, but at this genius that happened, a lot of coaches came out saying people behavior was ridiculous because people were getting pissed off at their calls, at the officials and all that. I just want to get your thoughts, guys, in terms of like us as a lifter, as lifters, our behavior should be in certain standards. We should hold it very high because we are not just representing ourselves, and especially now we are top tiers athletes. We will be representing our countries and our families. Right. So, what's your thought, guys, when it comes to stories like this coming out of Genius?
Um, Frankly, I think it's kind of silly. Like I don't, because like whenever like I miss a lift, I used to just like ask the referee what's happening, and I go, "Cool, thank you," and I move on. Like, I don't really think you should be getting annoyed at a call. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't help you, because like I think if you're angry, you can't adjust for your next attempt. Like, because I think on like across my meet, my average is like 8 out of 9. And if I've never really been angry at an official, or even if like they've given me a red light over and over again, you just ask them what's the issue and what you can do to fix it, and you move on. People are then they're there to judge. They're given their time to do this. They're not going to be like they're not out to get you. So I don't get why you're getting angry at them. Even if you have like your inherent goal of what you want to achieve on the day, and the decision changes that, it's your fault for getting the red lights or getting the blue lights. Like it's your fault. So you can't be mad at them for what you've done per se.
So, Sanchez, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, if you're getting red lights, so I just want to use probably the most obvious one is getting caught on depth. That was that was just me probably for the first 6 meets. I was getting caught on depth on always on my openers, right? And one thing I will say is just train to standards all the time. Was I trained to standards? I thought I was, but I wasn't really. And ultimately, that transpired on the platform. I think in terms of the juniors, I did see the post that came out this evening.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite interesting. I think everybody needs to do better, from the athletes to the parents to the coaches. Ultimately, the judges are, officiating to a standard, to a rule book that we all have access to. We can see at any time we like. So if you're getting called on depth, it's because you've not hit depth. If I'm not sure if there was a jury review in juniors at all. Ultimately, if you've got your transgressions and you're confident you hit depth for whatever reason, that goes to jury, get to view it. Simple as VAR in football and in rugby. But like I said, do better because you never know. You may get good enough for international selections, and if you're on record of being abusive to officials 2-3 years ago, people's memory is long, right? And if
And
you're
again
not,
on that as well, it's like why would you want to piss off?
they're not going to take you, right? So
Do you know what I mean? Like
you
it's so
do yourself a
stupid.
disservice.
Yeah, like I don't
That's
know.
all I'm going to say.
Yeah, like because people are petty as well. So I don't know why would you want to like give someone ammunition against you because like you still have the whole day. So let's say you've flipped your lid on squats, you still have bench deadlift to do. And like if I was referee, I'm telling you now, I'm very petty. You're getting red lights from me the whole way through. I will find a reason to give you a red light. If it's questionable, you're getting a red light. So like, why would you want to? No, I can't imagine you just you getting. Oh, it's funny, man.
I think
Like,
one of the thing I do. I mean, everyone I compare international, they see me especially when I go on international. Every time I see a red tie or a blue tie at the international, the respect I give them before I lift, mate, I hold doors for people. I don't even hold a door for my missus. Drop it, bro.
That's terrible.
Bro, I'm in that hotel room, right? Every time I'm coming out of the lift, I see a middle-aged man coming in. Even though they're no referees, I'm just gonna hold the lift for them. I don't care. I don't know if that person wanna meet them on the platform. I think it happened at the Euros in 2022 in Poland. It was literally like I held the door for this woman like 3 times. Mate, when I turn them on a platform, the chief ref, it's hard.
Oh wow!
She's one of the harshest referee we have in Europe. She's German. She has got red hair. If you have her on the platform in front of you, bro, your day is done. Your life is over. Literally, she does it. She doesn't even look at you. She just said, start, press, rock. She looked back. She doesn't look at you. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So again, like what you said there, like to be polite or to respect other people is not hard. It's one of the cheapest thing to do in life. Do you know what I mean? And some people, yes, if you get red light, yes, because your squat wasn't good, or because your dead wasn't good, because your bed, just lift your standard. Do you know what I mean? If you standard, nothing ever, they will take away from you because you lift your standards. I mean, you talk about squat depth. I was talking when we started here. When was the last time I got a third squat in international? Never. This was my first international match squat. But every time I got red, did I ever tell you I questioned the referee's decision? No, I never. Because it means I didn't lift the standards, or it means that it wasn't strong enough. You just move on from it. There's no point being pissed off. As Ade said, you're pissed off in the squat, there's bench, there's deadlift. And even if you forget about that meet, you go past that meet, there's another meet who you compare the national, that referee will be there. And Sanchez, you mentioned that memories, people have got long memories.
Yeah, will do. Definitely remember.
So I think people just should learn how to respect people, and especially parents that come with sub juniors and juniors. Come on, guys, it's a sport. There's a winner, there's a loser. It's part of the sport. You can never get to winner, even if like me and Ade were exactly the same. We hit the same numbers at the British. You will never gonna get 2 winners. One of us will be a winner. For someone, they will find a way for that person to be. Even me and him have to go out for that last deadlift for both of us to get extra.
Would they give you an extra deadlift?
Huh?
If you weighed the same and told the exact same, would they give you an extra deadlift? Or would they do it on lots?
I think they will do it on lot numbers. Yeah, they will do on lot numbers. Yeah. So do you mean? So basically, the reality is they always find a way how to get a winner. So that's how it works. So it is what it is. Guys, my last question is, um, one of the reason probably I brought you guys into this one today to chat is, of course, to talk about the way the British selection for the international teams are made. I know Sanchez, you did touch about it in the beginning. You touched a little bit about it, but I want a little bit more into what your thoughts on going forward, because last year, especially this last year, we didn't have I think this year we didn't have no nationals in terms of like world and Euros. We didn't have no national in between, and we had that selection meet we had in December. Of course, Ade did Ade's what Ade does best and Miss Way, and Sanchez
I'm
won. So,
not, I'm not at the end of this. People are just disturbing me, making jokes, and it's like, people, don't worry, it's okay, it's fine.
well, you know
You're
what?
forgetting all my over meets I've done. I've
I'm
been with.
waiting for anyone that comes to me saying, "Oh, why are you going to World and Ade is not going to World?" I got that video of you like making weight at the selection. I'm gonna send them that video. Say, see that
Okay,
that's Ade World selection. You
don't
mess
worry,
it
it's
up.
okay.
But
Hmm.
anyway,
I'm not
so
a riffing. I get my revenge. It's okay. It's okay.
in terms of like the selection is done going forward, guys, what's your thought in terms of what the head coach or the federation should adapt leading forward? Because again, we all gonna meet at the British, we'll clash head at the British, and the selection for international. There's a lot of international coming from 2025. Not just the winner of the British will go to all of it. I'm not sure it's gonna happen like that. People have opportunity to do Western Euros and all of that stuff. So, what's your thoughts going forward? I'll start with you, Ade.
I think so. To be honest, like how it's done now is fair to a certain extent. Obviously, if you win nationals, you should be given an opportunity to go worlds. But then it's also like a year is a long time in the sense of a lot can change between that. So if you have like if you have like a certain criteria of like if you hit X total by this date within these specific meets, you'll be selected for the world team. I think that gives a certain level of transparency that makes things fair. Um, and also allows to being the best team possible. So, for example, if let's say someone does nationals now and going forward they are injured leading into worlds, but someone else does Euros or does another meet, which is like part of the selection, and they do really well and they're healthy going into this, should you then take the person who is because people aren't going to give the world spot, even if they're injured, they're not going to give the world spot.
I've
They're
seen
going
it.
to go there. So it's like, do you then take them regardless because they've met the criteria, but they aren't really eligible anymore because they're not really fit to compete? And you're also then taking a weaker team to worlds. So if you enabled like selection from a few meets within a certain time frame, that will allow you to obviously pick the guys who are the best relatively close to the meet. And obviously, I think as well as being able to double up in weight classes because I don't because we're not like a US where across the weight classes we're stacked as in you can take one person from each weight class. It makes more sense to pick guys who have potential to podium across different weight classes, like maybe doubling up in 105, maybe doubling up in 83s, maybe doubling up in 120s. It makes more sense to take them opposed to taking people from other weight classes who do well in their class nationally, but internationally they wouldn't even be fifth. They would probably be like eighth. So it's like why give them a spot when you could give someone else who's in that other weight class, but they could both podium at the minute until like a GB as a whole expands at that point where you can just take one from each weight class.
You're right. You're right in terms. I think that approach of like the Canadians' approach. I think as much as it's daunting for themselves in Canada, I think that approach to every single federation around the world, that's probably is the more efficient one to get the best team a world. Do you know what I mean? Where, as you said, particular meet in the year you do, and leading to world, the guy that has got the biggest total in that weight class probably make the team rather than because again, as talking about national here, I'm just gonna say this out there. You can go to national where everybody had a bad meet and then you go like, well, 349 and win nationals doesn't really make you a better lifter than someone else that go to, let's say, the Arnold and total like 100 kilos more than you. But because you won the nationals and you go to world, that person doesn't. To me, it doesn't really make sense because you hit the criteria. So Yeah, you're right there. So yeah, what's your thoughts, Sanchez, on this?
It's quite similar. I think I touched on it earlier on. I think we need some transparency, just like the US team has. I suppose with the US team, they've obviously had their PA nationals, 13 weeks, 12, 13 weeks out of Worlds. So the guys that have won their weight categories obviously got their ticket to Worlds. It's justified because nothing's barring an injury. Nothing's going to change in those 12 weeks. Nobody's going to catch them. You would have thought. But I think for us, if we're having our nationals in November and if Worlds is June 2025, end of June 2025, that's 7 months for somebody else to come along and have a bigger total than whoever wins at nationals, right? So yes, there should definitely be a cut-off point, i.e., 3 months, 12 weeks before Worlds. The selectors will look at who's got the biggest total. And there should be a coefficient in there or a percentage to say, well, look, the person that obviously won British Nationals has X total. Second place, i.e., up until that cut-off date, is 98.5% of that. It looks like the so-called British champ has got an injury, he's not performing, or she's not performing as well as well as she'd like. Let's take that person that's got 98.5% instead. But there needs to be transparency. Look at obviously me and Ade now. Obviously Ade sending DMs and emails to British powerlifting to see what the process is and stuff like that. I haven't done that. Like I said, I'm just going to take it on anything on the chin and train anyway. Even if we don't go, I'm pretty sure we'll both be on the reserve list, right? So it doesn't really make a difference. You still got to train for it. But like I said, it's just having that transparency beforehand at the start of the year to say, well, look, these are going to be the selection criteria for Worlds, selection criteria for Euros, and the selection criteria for Western Euros. And I think a lot of people forget about Western Euros. I did that last year, so I will champion it. We sent an absolutely stacked team that murdered the rest of Western Europe. And I think that selection was based on the also runs at the British Nationals. That was in March. I came second at British Nationals last year. And a lot of the guys that selected were there or thereabouts or had pretty scary totals. We all went to Western Euros and won massively as a team. So I think even that, we do need to have selection criteria for each international competition. Bar Arnold's, obviously, Arnold's is one of those competitions where you send the people that will just be, excite the crowd, basically.
I mean, again, what you guys said, you both touched on transparency. I mean, when to me, transparency, I wouldn't use the word transparency. The reason for that is because we had the selections, and of course, all of us were told about the criteria leading this year.
Yeah.
So, in terms of like what we needed to hit and what, the only thing I would say is, realistically, I would say is they should have considered the Euros and the Arnold tours, right? Into that 2024 world. Do you know what I mean? That's something probably they should have considered in terms of, okay, we have a selection meet, you hit the criteria, you qualify for this, but the Arnolds and the Euros, anyone that goes, they will be considered. I'm not saying you guys, the Arnolds or the Euros will be have given priorities to those selection, but the selection can always have priority and the Arnold can be considered. Because again, I mean, playing devil advocate here, it come to the point where, for instance, his son, what is it, Maxwell? Maxwell decided to decline.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to do world, right? They took Nathan to the Euros. So if they follow the Euros tour on the Arnold, if Nathan goes there and told to 860, then Maxwell is dropped. But is that fair for Maxwell? No, because he didn't even defend his place. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, again, going back to
But it is fair though, because he opted not to do it. He could have done it. It's like the guys who went to Sheffield and opted not to do nationals. Obviously, and then they got knocked out. Like Keiko, for example, he's not going to Worlds because he opted it's a gamble, really. Like, you can choose to defend it, or if you believe that these guys are not going to beat your total, you take the risk. Like, it's your decision to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that is inherently it's fair because, again, we're in a strength sport. Like, the strongest person should go.
Yeah, I agree with that in terms of like the example you gave with that Kaiko there, P3, of course, total 895 and Kaiko didn't go. But again, the Americans, that was set,
Mhm.
right, as a rule. That
Yeah.
was set as a qualification criteria where, yes, your Sheffield total will sit at the top, it will be considered. But anyone that does a national total more than that, you're staying home. Do you know what I mean? But we are in a different pool. Our
Yeah, we
pool,
don't have that set. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, we're in a different pool. Our pool, it is what it is. But again, as you mentioned there yourself, Ade, British powerlifting, we're not on that level yet. Where you're thinking, oh, 83 just Ade, 105 just Sanchez, 120 just Tony. No, we are not in that place where we still a few miles back in terms of like other weight classes to start picking up. Because now we're talking about, he was sitting here talking about the 83 being stacked at the national because realistically, we're only seeing me, you, and Kunz. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like the top tier in 83. Anyone else can join the party, more than welcome. But this is what we're talking about. The 105 is a bloodbath because there's a few of you. And the 120,
Yeah.
let's not even talk about the 120s. But if we move down, the 59, who is in the 59? Right? The 66, who's in the 66? So yes, there is Ben Grant, there's Joey, and now unless Kibria come down for them to be a battle and all of that. 74s, I don't know what Dylan is going to be doing. So again, like I know I'm going weight class by weight class, but I'm talking about where I think we're still behind compared to other nations that sell just one lifter in every single weight class. So we're still behind on that respective. Guys, so thank you guys. I'm gonna be closing off here, but just last one before
Yep.
we go. So world is coming, and you guys, as you said, you waiting for your place. Hopefully, you get that place. And either, of course, you message people around, you email. Next thing you do, you be knocking on people's door.
You're gonna hear from Paul. Like, I was gonna put a story. Fuck
You know,
that, man. He's leave me alone.
yeah, I go tell people's address. If you need them, DM me. I'll send you the addresses.
Oh my God. How you
So,
doing today?
to me, again, seeing you at World on that team again, of course, you guys at the moment you got the biggest totals in your weight class in the country. So it's something like you've done well. You deserve all the flowers you guys are getting. So even if you don't get to World, the national will be there. You guys can prove yourself that you guys are the top dogs. So all of us will be chasing you guys. So I'm so proud of what you guys did at the Arnolds, even though people are coming on my DM saying how petty I am. I'm not giving Ade enough flowers, but it is what it is. People don't believe that it is what it is. But if they don't know, I'm the first person that messaged Ade. People don't know that. But anyway, guys, just last question in terms of like world for us.
Mhm.
What's your thought in the team that we potentially might be sending to world, excluding you? What's your thought on that team?
To be honest, like again, they deserve to go because obviously, whether or not like I feel like it's the strongest team, they deserve to go because like they've done what they need to do. They've showed up, and it's a thing of what's it called? Yeah, it's a thing of like I don't want to go on a tangent, but I'm like in terms of taking the most competitive team, I don't feel like it's the most competitive team, but whoever does get picked to go deserves to be there because they wouldn't get picked otherwise.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yourself, Sanchez?
Yeah, for me, it's much the same. You should always pick the strongest team, and for me, it's total is king, right? So if you're taking people that haven't total as much as the other people, but they may have in the past, and you're taking them based on past performance, then that's the selectors, and you better hope that those people ultimately pay back the selectors the selectors' choices because if they don't and they have a lower total, the total is what the selectors hope for, then it's not going to look good. But I mean, ultimately, from a GB point of view, you want the strongest team to go there, and you want everybody to pick up the most points and GB to be up there on the world stage. Obviously, the US team is stacked, and they will maybe virtually take a clean sweep on the men's side at least. But if we're not so far behind, at least we know where we're at.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and I know you guys coming with those nice words, those wonderful feedback. It was coming from a very tough and a hard, tough place. I know, Ade, you in pain saying that.
Fuck all of you guys going. I hate all of you.
Pain, and then Sanchez from your side, especially like,
Yeah.
of course, you have got the biggest 105 tour in the country at the moment. I know it wasn't easy for you to say. There was good things you say, but again, as you said, I agree with you. The best team should be going, and the people that are on the team, every single person on that team, I think they deserve their place. We can't take that away from them, because no matter what the performance of the Arnolds were for you two and Mo, but remember those people on the team, they had those performances. At that time, they had those performances. Those performances were the elite. That's the best we had in the country. And of course, as you said, the national in November, world in June. Anything can happen in that 7 months, right? Selection in what? In November, world is in June. Exact same thing I'm saying. Like, anything can happen, and you guys have proven it. You've proven like anything can happen, and you did what you did. It's painful. Take on the chin, guys. I'll be on that world stage. I'll be literally lifting for both of you. I'll be like, this is for Sanchez, that's for Ade.
Okay.
If I flop, I don't want anyone to come on my DMs.
I'll be messaging you like, what is this? You promised to show us. What is this?
I told you 8:30, Ade, you come to me saying like you only added 7 kilo on your toe. That's pathetic. I will block So on that note, guys, boys, thank you very much for joining me, chatting to me on this one. And if you guys don't mind, I will ask a favor. I will bring you guys back in for the world preview.
Okay, cool.
Right?
Okay.
Because that will hurt you even more when you have.
It's like, to be honest, I already worked out what most people's numbers, so it'll be fun to discuss it.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
Yeah, because
it'll be interesting, and I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. I've taken a different approach of my training. Things you see on social media, you're not gonna see it no more. But I take a different approach. But I'll be transparent with you when we do that preview. I will send you the lift, I will send you everything, so you guys can have an idea of where we will be. But I will bring you guys in because I want that pain when you're saying like, oh, Juren's gonna be going to world, and one chance will be like, oh, Ben. So Ben always add 2.5 kilo every time he competes. So this time, I'm not gonna give him 10. I might give him 7.5. That would be painful, but yeah, I'll bring you guys in again. So guys, thank you very much.
okay.
Anyone's listening, anyone's watching, guys, give us good likes. If you have any comment or anything to say to Ade or Sanchez, drop them a comment or message them, guys. They will reply. Already people are putting polls there telling is would Ade win the national or Durant? I only go like 15% so far. So Ade is smashing already, 85%. So by the time next week, it's going to be 100%. And Sanchez is the exact same thing. You're smashing it.
Yeah.
Ben only got 20%, you got 80% already. So we'll be releasing those polls, and then probably I'm telling Espin to release on Wednesday or Thursday. You guys are going to see it. So yeah, I only got 15%. I was shocked that people don't like me. Jesus Christ.
I don't know who you pissed off, bro. They were waiting. They were like, finally.
Bro, people say like, thank you. Someone shut Jiren's mouth. Jesus, I only got 15%. I thought maybe they'll give me even 40%. They gave me 15, bro. Good luck
I'm
to me.
sure my own will come as well. I'm sure my own will come. They'll wait now. They'll wait. Russ gets it all the time. They don't want you to do well.
On that note, guys, thank you guys. Next time.